February 28th. Normally we would say that's the last day of February, but it is your last school day of February. Tomorrow being leap day. Something was going around the internet that was kind of funny. You know, when your parents buy milk, first thing they look at before they take it off the shelf is the expiration date, right? So somebody was showing a picture of a milk carton, and the expiration date said February 30th. It was real, yeah. Is there ever a February 30th?
No.
Oh. What? Right. Every 4 years there's a February 29th. There's never a February 30th. Okay, you had so much homework last night.
Yes.
I'm sure even Noah can handle it.
No.
Number 1, bottom of page 391. What are the sum of the angles in a pentagon? I wrote yesterday this on the board. Any polygon, you could figure out the total number of degrees within that polygon's angles with this simple formula. Now, is it important that I put parentheses around that?
Yes.
Yes, because you know order of operations say that if I didn't put parentheses around it, you would rightly do 2 times 180 first, but that's why we have parentheses around the n minus 2. That says do that first. What's the n stand for? The number of sides. So, in 7th and 8th grade, no one in here should not know by now how many sides are in a pentagon. If you don't know those, if you don't know your pentagon, hexagon, heptagon, octagon, at least those, you got to know them, like in the next 30 seconds. Pentagon, hexagon, heptagon, octagon. You don't have to know nonagon and decagon, and I always forget 11 myself. I do know 12's a dodecagon. Okay, so at least know those 8. So if that's true, Mitchell says 5 minus 2 is 3, and 3 times 80 is 540. Number 2, find the measure of one angle in a regular heptagon and round to the nearest tenth of a degree. Who was able to figure out what that question was asking? Only one person. Only one person was able to figure out what that was asking. Okay, all the hands that didn't go up. If you didn't figure out what it was asking, serious question. The 2 pages leading up to those 2 questions, how many earnestly looked for how to figure out what they were talking about? 1, but you couldn't quite figure it out. What is listen, there's a term that goes with a shape. There's octagons and then there's regular octagons. An octagon is any 8-sided polygon. You with me, Micah? Any 6-sided polygon is called hexagon. When they put the word regular in front of it, that tells you that it's an octagon that you're familiar with seeing, like a stop sign. All 8 angles are the same. Now do you understand? A regular polygon is indicating to us that the size of the angles are the same. When you look at a stop sign, it's so perfectly shaped 8-sidedly because all the line segments and all the angles are the same. Does that make sense? Yeah. So if we know all the angles are the same because they called it regular, then we take hept 7 minus 2, which is 5. We had to take 5 times 180, but number 2 says you got to do more work. 7 minus 2 times 180. 5 times 180 equals 900. Now what? Since they told us it was a regular heptagon, we know we can divide that by 7. And it'll come out, and that'll tell us what each angle is. So you had to do 900 divided by 7, and who's the one hand that went up? Kara, what'd you get? To the nearest 10. 113. Yeah? 130. To the nearest 10, not nearest 10.
Oh, then 127.
128.6. 128.6. 0.6, if you'll indulge me while I do the division real quick. Five, 35, and this is all I need to know right here. As soon as I know that's going to be a 7 to the nearest 10th, that's a 6. Did you follow that? All right, here we go. Next page. Time to go to work. Time flies when you're having fun, and Fridays are fun. So if you're just sitting there like Lauren, and you know you're not allowed to sleep in class, I'd rather just work. The next thing I know, I look up and the period's over. All right, numbers 1 through 25. 392, 393. 1 through 25. Homework is up to you. What's that?
I'm pretty sure you meant 1 through 2, right?
1 through 25.
Oh, yeah. That was amazing.
Yes.
I was just making sure. You meant 1 and 12.
Make sure you are making continuous progress.
Don't you divide by something?
Regular, listen. Regular polygons. That's telling you that all the sides are the same. So if it's a pentagon, all the angles are going to be the same angle. Regular hexagon, all 6 angles, the same. So it allows you to divide by 7 if it's a heptagon, 6 if it's a hexagon, and so on.
What are the numbers? It's 4 through 25.
By the way, 2 through 4, you use all of those choices once. Is it a polygon, a regular polygon, or not a polygon? They're all used once. Yes, ma'am. Number 5. Find the sum of the angle measures in this polygon. It's a 10-gon. They should have just said decagon, but it's a 10-sided figure. We simply use this same formula, n minus 2, parentheses, times 180. So to find out how many total degrees are within that 10-sided figure, we go 10 minus 2 times 180, 8 times 180. Always the same. Formulas make life easier. I remember in 5th grade, it was hard to convince you of that. That was my job yesterday. 2 separate 5th grade classes trying to convince them that formulas make life easier, Elise. Because when you first learn it back in 5th grade, you're like, formula? It's just a weird word to be using in math class, right? So you're like, how's a formula make my life easier? It's always the same. You just plug in numbers. It's always the same. Talking polygons, however many sides, subtract 2 times by 180. If ever you're like, man, I can't remember exactly how to do that. You know there's 180 degrees in a triangle. 3 minus 2 is 1.
What was the answer to number 2?
Number 2. Okay, look at that
No,
thing.
not that number 2. The number 2 for
128.6. Because we divided 900 by 7. Yes, sir.
What am I doing for 5 through 8?
I just did 5 on the board.
Okay.
Look, how many sides does it have? It calls it a tenagon, a decagon.
Yeah.
How many? Gon means sides. How many sides does it have? You always just plug 10 in for number of sides. 10 minus 2 is 8. 8 times 180.
And then you divide. Would you have to do everything else after that?
They just want to know how many degrees. They didn't say how many's in each angle. They just said for number 5 through 8, it just says just find the sum of the angles. You don't divide when you're done. It doesn't say find what each angle is. It just says find the sum of the angles. 1440. WHOT. You know, Hot 101 used to be 1440. No, 1330. 1330. WHOT. 1330. You know, back in the 70s, when the cars, a lot of them just had A.
That would be terrible. I would not even bother listening to the radio.
Yes, you would have, because that's all you would have had.
No, I wouldn't.
And if you had a newer car, it had AM, FM, stereo.
Wow.
Have you ever been in a car where it was just AM radio and there was push buttons to move the thing?
Nope.
You've never even been in a car like that?
I have.
Have you ever seen it?
You have, but.
I use CDs that are like that.
Okay, so you had a knob where you would turn this
Yeah.
line that came, and there was numbers from 530 all the way over to like 15 or 16.
Then yeah, I know what you're talking
And the
about.
line goes across the radio, and then they would have buttons.
No, I do not.
You know how like now your car stereo radio, you can push a button, it's a preset channel it goes to, right? Well, they had that too, except they were like literally big fat buttons that you pushed in.
Yeah.
It would move it to the...
My dad has one
Those
of
were
the
the
bars.
days. The good old days.
My dad has one of the bars.
It's the big one. That's
Tell me about the good old days.
I had a legend that has
My mom, I heard that song. My mom.
the thing you really about.
What?
I use that as a guilt thing on my son when he has a chance to go see his grandpa and he doesn't do it.
That's like manipulating. This is Christian.
Of course.
No.
To do what's right, of course. It's my job. Yes. Do what's right, yes. All right, Spence, question is, how do we do 9? All right, 9's just taking the same kind of information and putting it in a word problem form, right? So let's break it down. A table has 7 sides of equal length. So what is the table? It's a regular 7 sides. It's a regular 7, not 6. Heptagon. The table is a regular heptagon because they told us that it had 7 sides, so 7 angles, and they're all equal. Raise your hand if you do not understand. Number 9 is telling us it's a regular heptagon. 7-sided where all the angles are the same. Find the measure of one angle to the nearest 1/10 of a degree. I have to tell you that if you were paying attention at the beginning of the class, I already did that one on the board because that was number 2 at the bottom of page 391. What they did was they took the same information from the bottom of 391 and they put it in different form. 7-sided heptagon, regular because they're all the same, n minus 2, 5 minus 2 times 180, divided by 7. What'd you get?
I got 128.
0.6.
Oh.
Remember I had it right here. It was point.
Yeah, I divided wrong, so I got 126.
We gotta clean up regular arithmetic.
Can we like just use calculators because we know how to divide?
Oh, wait. You just contradicted yourself.
Yeah, I missed it by 1.
You said, here's what you said in the last 30 seconds, Dina Arthurs, ready?
Yeah.
I did it right, but I messed up the division. Hey, can we use calculators because we know how to divide?
Did I cut my words? Can we use calculator?
No.
Some of those guys are
That was a good idea.
There'll be a time when you can use calculators, now's not it.
Calculus? That makes sense.
What, honey?
Nine?
What was the error? What was the error in number 10? Yes,
They didn't subtract two.
they didn't subtract 2. They took the hexagon and just multiplied it by 180. No. 6 minus 2 times 180. You sit there, you're doing nothing. What are you doing? You're trying to think, but nothing happens. Better eat some oatmeal, get yourself going in the morning.
I was thinking, but I quit thinking because I was tired.
That's what I do a lot with this.
All right, number 11. Listen up. 11 through 13. You don't even have to name it. You just have to answer yes or no. Is that thing a polygon? What is a polygon? Somebody the other day said poly means many. We learned that gon means side. So is that first figure, number 11, a many-sided figure? A circle's not a polygon. It's not made of sides. Up there at number 3, you said that's not a polygon. It's curved. Polygons aren't curved. They're made of sides. Go ahead.
Number 20.
Are you just trying to brag you're already on number 20?
No, I don't understand it because you get 3, 20.
All right, 20.
I'm 10 pounds away.
Find the value of x. First of all, Spence, what is that shape?
It's a polygon.
Okay, more specifically.
Oh my goodness, what's the word for it?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, trapezoid.
No, you're missing something. Look at it, count them up. A trapezoid has to be a quadrilateral.
Oh, it's a pentagon.
It's a pentagon, it's got 5 sides. It's a weird, it's not regular, is it? Ladies and gentlemen, number 20, Kira. Look at that odd shape in number 20. If we look closely, there's 5 sides, not 4, so it's a pentagon, but it's not regular, is it? Because if it was regular, they'd all be the same angle. That one's weird. All right, so since we know, Spencer, that it's a pentagon, what are we going to do first?
I tried to add up everything.
5 minus 2,
Okay, so.
right? You got to know how many degrees you need.
Oh,
You got to do the 5 minus 2, and then 3 times 180.
That was
Then they all add up to 540.
It's already added.
Yeah. Everybody follow that?
Yeah.
Look, I hate to oversimplify it, but this is all you really have to learn today. One simple thing, n minus 2 times 180. Take everything from there.
Can I come up and plug my merch?
Can you what?
Come up and plug my merch.
You're who?
My merch. This is my dad's merch. He has a YouTube.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. And I come up and plug it.
He doesn't post very often, does he?
He does sometimes.
What, honey?
115. That's not even.
Where you at?
Number 17.
The guy who's closest to the road is closest to the game.
Can I use that?
What's 115 minus 2?
I am not doing it.
So you gotta do 113 times 180. You act like it's hard to do 3-digit multiplication. No, you can't use a calculator. That's being lazy.
I always checked up on it.
Well, then you need more practice. I need to give you another one.
No.
So after you do the 115 gone, now you gotta do a 119 gone. Is that what you want me to say?
No. Anybody wants you?
Oh, yes.
I would like to say that we should not have to do number 17.
Well, sorry.
And for 14 through 16, they should be the same measurements as number 5 through 8. Well, 5 through 7. right? Because they could have just used the same measurements.
Okay, you're gonna get the same total for each polygon, but number 14 through 16 is saying, now that you got that total,
But you don't.
you have to divide.
Because 15 is 14 and 16 is 21. And we don't have those in 5 through 7.
Okay, so then why'd you even ask that?
Yes.
Because they feel that they should be the same
Yeah.
size.
Zacchaeus,
So we don't have to
Zacchaeus,
play it
come on.
You can just have this done.
The only stupid question,
You know, like how that's.
the only stupid question,
Yeah, you have to teach you the school of this.
I'll teach you that.
Wait. you're telling me the other teachers told you that was a stupid question?
Yeah, Mr. Sheldon. That's what Mr. Sheldon.
Is your favorite grade actually craft?
What? Okay, I can see them saying that if you're doing it on purpose, like Zacchaeus.
I'm not.
Also, I'm just gonna, since I was talking about Puzzle Merch, buy his album, it's called Struggle Like Darkness. Yeah.
But
Look
he
it up.
doesn't do it. He's just, he just asks dumb, really dumb questions. He get what's on here.
What are you stuck on, Sid? Sid, which one is it?
Number 21.
21.
Yeah.
First of all, what is that? More specifically. How many sides?
6.
Okay, is it regular?
Yes.
No. Why is it not regular? Because they're giving us the measure of the angles, and some of them are X and some of them are 2X, so they're not all the same, right? Okay, so the first thing I do when I look at 21, Micah, first thing I do when I look at 21 is assess it as a polygon. Good. Next, how many sides? 6. All right, I'm dealing with a hexagon. If I'm dealing with a hexagon, a 6-sided figure, look, this is it. This is the lesson today. Boom. You're in junior high. You got one thing to learn today. N minus 2 times 180. If it's a hexagon, 6 minus 2 is 4. 4 times 180 is 720. If all of those angles have to add up to 720, 2x plus 2x plus 2x plus 2x plus x equals 720. All of them added up equals 720. In fact, you don't even have to write that down. 2x plus 2x plus 2x plus 2x plus x, because you just go like this. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. 10x equals 720. You can almost do that without having to work it out on paper. It all could be done with mental math. 2x plus 2x is 4x, plus 2x is 6x, plus 2x is 8x, plus x, 9x plus x, 10x. 10x has to equal what? 720, because 4 times 180 is 720. Since it's a 10x and I'm dividing by 10, even Lauren knows Lauren knows that 720 divided by 10, you just take a 0 off the
Yes, Lauren
back.
knows.
72.
Lauren's so tired. Honestly. If you're done, sure. We have like 15 minutes left up, so like, yeah.
Be done. Which one?
Like, probably could.
Number 23, my favorite number. Here we go. First of all, what is that, Brett? Brett's going to say that's home plate. What shape is it? Oh, Brett, home plate. What shape is home plate? Seth, help him out. Pentagon. It's a pentagon, okay?
He did.
He said pentagon.
I didn't hear you. I thought you said I don't know. Pentagon. All right, Brett, what do we know about a pentagon?
Well, it's got 5 sides.
Okay? Look, Brett, this is all you had to learn today. If it's got 5 sides, Brett, what's 5 minus 2? What's 3 times 180? You should have that memorized by now. You've done it enough times. What's 3 times 180?
540.
540. Okay. So we know that all of those angles added together have to be 540, right? Okay, what do we know about, let's see. What do we know about angles A, C, and D?
They're right angles.
Okay, so all of those added up
Is 270.
gives me 270. What do we know about angles E and B? If you're all not paying attention to his question, you're not going to get 23 right. If you think you're done, you better check 23. Go ahead, Brett.
I'm not sure.
So far, Brett has established that all of the angles inside that pentagon have to add up to 540. He also recognized that 3 of the angles are right angles. So he's got 270. What he doesn't know is how big the angles are on the right and left, E and B. But what he does know is that they are by putting those arcs on them, that's indicating to, like the little ticks on the side, tell you that they're the same. Those arcs on the angle are telling you those are the same value. So watch this, Brett. You have 270 for your right angles, and whatever those other angles are, let's say they're X, we have to add 2 of them to get to 540. That kind of, listen, that's a tough one to figure out, Case. Number 23, Casey. How did I get 540? Because 5 minus 2 is 3, and 3 times 1 is 540. I got 3 right angles. What are the other 2 angles? I don't know. But they told me that they're the same. So 2 of them, X, I don't know what they are, 2 of them added to the 270 has to equal. Does that make sense? That took a little extra thinking. 3 of the angles were right angles. This is number 23. So that's how Brett got 270. The other 2 angles, B and E, I don't know. So I'm going to represent them by X. I don't know. That's what I want to find out. I do know that they're both the same. So 270 plus 2 of those has to equal 540. So 2X equals 270. X must be 135. Now wait, I should have probably called this Y because they want to know what X is. So let's call that Y. So if the unknown angles on the inside are 135, what does X have to be? Because X is on the outside of the pentagon. The directions say find the value of X. If I found the value of B to be 135, what does X have to be? What?
45.
45. Because the angle B plus X has to equal 180, the straight line. Want me to do that again?
No.
You sure? I'll do it again for you. Listen.
Yeah, I'm good.
You sure? You want me to walk on that side of the room? Huh? Huh? Thanks for playing along today. Huh? Are you done? You're done with 25. And you did 20. Wait. I got to finish this so that you all don't think angle X is 135. Angle X is what you want to know. What does X equal? 180 minus 135. Why? Because this angle, B, plus X has to equal 180 because it makes a straight line. That's how we got X is 45 degrees. David, curious, what'd you get for 25?
Yeah, I lied. I did 25.
Now wait, did you lie or did you not know you had to do through 25? Well, then that's not a lie.
Wait, what?
You're killing me. You're absolutely slaying me. 25. The sum of the angles in a polygon is 1980. How many sides does it have? Casey, if you fully understand this, you work backwards to get the answer to 25.
You divide by 180, and then you add to the answer.
Yeah,
It is?
yeah. You work backwards. Look, how did we get to 1440 when we first started? 6, 10 minus 2, 8 times 180. If we work backwards, we would do 1440 divided by 180, which would give us 8, and then we add 2 to it for 10. So if we start with 1980, how'd you get 13? You divided this by 180.
And then I added 2.
And then add 2 to it. So it's a 13-sided polygon. If you're done, do me a favor, because I did this like 10 years ago and now I forget. If you're done, your job is, for 2 bonus points, to tell me the shape of this room.
11 o'clock.
Better look more closely.
That's going serious.
It's a.
Don't you want to go?
18 gone?
Ooh, I think 18's close. I can't remember. if it's
17
I got 20 o'clock.
23.
17.
Yeah, I got 18 too. Actually, wait.
Count these.
Oh, I can't even see that.
I got it.
It's
18.
40 gone.
Wait, you're counting those?
Count this.
22 gone. 20, yeah.
17 gone.
20 gone.
45.
22 gone.
I
24 gone.
45.
22 gone.
1, 2,
22
Or depending on how technical you want to get
I got
with these.
10, 11, 12.
28 gone.
Should we really be counting this?
I put my hand right now. I'm holding it down.
So then 20 is gone.
I do that.
18 is gone.
22.
You're asking
It's
me.
gonna
I
be,
don't know.
it's gonna end up being like 500 gone.
47. 47 or 28. Or 27 or 27.
Did you count my hand? Because now that makes it 2 more.
But no, that's still.
So it'd be 21.
What if we took away the wall or the door?
I took away the door.
Okay, then
Let's all
27 is gone. Or I mean, 17
And,
is gone.
And take away the window indentations.
Oh, okay, then 16 is gone. 12 is gone.
I'm just gonna say that.
18